in this lecture we are going to derive deflection equation. So without any further ado, let's start. So here you can see there is a beam. Suppose that there is some loading in the beam which is causing a pure bending. A pure bending situation is the situation when there is no shear force in the beam and only the beam experiences flexure or bending. That is pure bending. But this is a hypothetical situation. There are no practical situation when the shear force is absent in the beam. Let's consider the same beam over here. I have drawn the same beam over here, and for the analysis purpose we are considering this portion of the beam. After bending, the beam looks something like this. And let's go to the next page. Here also this is the same beam after bending, and this is the exaggerated figure of the beam. The original beam doesn't bends like this. The bending is so small that we cannot see it with our naked eyes. So this is the exaggerated portion of the beam. We are taking this purple section of the beam for our analysis. The same purple portion is represented here. This is the coordinate axis, this is x-axis, and this is y-axis. Now we are taking 2 points P and Q in this portion of the beam, and from these 2 points we will be drawing 2 tangents to the x-axis, something like this. So this is point P, this is point Q. The tangent from the point P is making angle theta with the x-axis, while the tangent from Q is making an angle d theta plus d theta with the x-axis. Now if you join these two tangents, this angle between the tangents will be d theta. You can understand this from the exterior angle property of the triangle, that exterior angle of a triangle is sum of opposite to interior angles. So this theta plus this d theta will be theta plus d theta. Moving ahead, we will be drawing two normals from this 2 points P and Q, which will intersect at point O, which is the center of the circle. So these are the normals which is intersecting at O, which is the center of the circle. This is theta plus d theta. Now I'd like to explain you something. There is a concept that if this angle is d theta, that is the angle between the two intersecting tangents from 2 points, then if we draw two normals from the same points which intersect at the center of the circle, then this angle will also be equals to d theta. Now let me explain you why it is so. Let's consider this is a circle with center O. This is point A, this is point B. From point A and B we are drawing two tangents and two normals which is intersecting at point O. Now let this be angle be 1, this angle be 2, and this angle be 3. Now from the properties of the circle we know that angle 1 plus angle 2 is equals to 180 degree. Also we know that angle 1 plus angle 3 is 180 degree. They are lying in a straight line, technically known as linear pair. So from these two equations, let me call this equation number 1, equation number 2. From these two equations what we get is angle 1 plus angle 2 is same as angle 1 plus angle 3. This angle 1 and 1 will get cancelled out. So angle 2 is equals to angle 3. Angle 2 is equals to angle 3. It means that if we draw two tangents from two different points and those tangents intersect each other, let's say at point C, so the angle between those tangents, this angle 3, must be equal to the angle between the normals at the center of the circle, angle 2. So using the same analogy, if this angle is theta, if this angle is d theta over here, so this angle also will be d theta, because this point is point O, which is the center of the circle. Now let's move ahead. Now I've taken the same beam over here. Let me name this P and Q. Now the distance between P and Q along the x direction, let that distance be dx, and the distance between P and Q along the y direction be dy, and the length of the PQ arc be ds. Now, since the arc is very small, we can consider it as almost a straight line. Now this angle is theta, so this angle is also going to be theta if we consider PQ arc as a straight line. So this angle is going to be theta. So from here we can write that sine theta is dy by ds, cos theta is dx by ds, and tan theta is dy by dx. So let these be equations be 1, 2 and 3. Now we'll be differentiating tan theta with respect to x. So let me write it here. So what we get? Tan theta is dy by dx. So derivative of tan theta is sec square theta. It will be d theta by dx. And here on the right hand side it will be d2y by dx2. Now I'll do a small manipulation. Instead of d theta by dx, I'll write d theta by ds. So sec square theta, instead of d theta by dx, I'll write d theta by ds into ds by dx is equals to d2y by dx2. Now sec square theta into d theta by dx into, instead of ds by dx, from equation number 2 we can write 1 by cos theta, and 1 by cos theta is nothing but sec theta. So instead of ds by dx, what am I doing? I am writing sec theta. This is from equation number 2. Let me write it that it is from equation number 2. Equation number 2. Now sec square theta into sec theta is sec cube theta into d theta by ds is equals to d2y by dx2. Or we can write d theta by ds. D theta by ds is d2y by dx2 by sec cube theta. Also, we are writing sec cube theta as sec square theta. This sec cube theta again we are manipulating and writing it as sec square theta to the power 3 by 2. Can we write this? Writing sec cube theta as sec square theta to the power 3 by 2. So what will I do now? D theta by ds will be equals to d2y by dx2 by, now sec square theta I'll be writing as 1 plus tan square theta, because sec square theta is 1 plus tan square theta to the power 3 by 2. So we can write d theta by ds as d2y by dx square by 1 plus tan square theta. Tan square theta means tan theta is dy by dx. So tan square theta will be dy by dx to the power 1 by dy by dx to the power 2 and whole to the power 1 by 3. Whole to the power 3 by 2. Now see, this dy by dx is very small quantity. This tan theta is equals to dy by dx is very small quantity and we are squaring it. So it will become even more smaller. So we can ignore this dy by dx. If we ignore this dy by dx, the whole denominator becomes 1 and we get d theta by ds as d2y by dx square. Now what is d theta by ds? From previous figure, this was ds, and let this from point O to point Q, this distance be the radius of the curvature of the arc. Let this be r. Now we know that ds is equals to r d theta. This implies, can we write d theta by ds? D theta by ds is 1 by r, or let this be equation number 4. From equation number 4, we know that d theta by ds is 1 by r. So from equation number 4, what we will write, instead of d theta by ds, we will be writing 1 by r is equals to d2y by dx square. From 4, from the flexure formula we get, those who don't know what is flexure formula and how it is derived, I'll request them to go through my previous lecture where I have derived the flexure formula in a great detail. So what is flexure formula? Flexure formula is m by I is equals to sigma by y is equals to E by R. So from this equation, we know that 1 by R is equals to m by EI. Let this be equation number 5. Now instead of R1 by R, what we will write? We will be writing 1 by R as m by EI. So we can write m by EI is equals to d2y by dx square. So again, I'll request all those people who don't know from where I have taken this flexure formula to go through my previous lecture where I have explained this flexure formula, the derivation of this flexure formula. Kindly learn from there. So this equation, that is m by EI is equals to d2y by dx2, is the differential equation for deflection of the beam. This same equation is used to find the slope as well as the deflection at any point in the beam. Suppose if we integrate this equation once, what we get, as we get EI dy by dx as integration of moment. We'll integrate this portion as well. So this dy by dx is nothing but the slope of the equation, slope of the beam, and if we integrate it again with respect to x, we'll be getting EI into y is equals to double integration of m, which will give us y, which is the deflection at a particular point in the beam. Not to worry, we will be using this equation multiple number of times while solving the problems. Then you will understand it better. Meanwhile, just remember that m by EI is equals to d2 by dx square is the required differential equation for the deflection of the beam. So that's all for today's class. Hope you liked it. Thank you for being patient. Bye-bye and have a nice day. Do like and follow me for more.